Thomas Jefferson, he was once asked by a young man about newspapers and journalism and what the role of society, what their role in society is and how it should be that they are actually most beneficial to society. And the young man that wrote to him was one named John Norvell, and he was born in 1789. He was a future veteran of the War of 1812, eventually did become a newspaper editor for some time, and also one of the first U.S. senators from Michigan. In 1807, John Norvell wrote to U.S. President Thomas Jefferson, said, "It would be a great favor, too, to have your opinion of the manner in which a newspaper, to be most extensively beneficial, should be conducted, as I expect to become the publisher of one for a few years. Accept, venerable patriot, my warmest wishes for your happiness. Signed, John Norvell." And here is an excerpt, a 3-paragraph excerpt from the letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote back, when you can actually get a handwritten letter back from a president. Okay? Here you have it. This is from founders.archives.gov. To your request of my opinion of the manner in which a newspaper should be conducted, so as to be most useful, I should answer by restraining it to true facts and sound principles only. Yet I fear such a paper would find few subscribers. It is a melancholy truth that a suppression of the press could not more completely deprive the nation of its benefits than is done by its abandoned prostitution to falsehood. Nothing can now be believed which is seen in a newspaper. Truth itself becomes suspicious by being put into that polluted vehicle. The real extent of this state of misinformation is known only to those who are in a situation to confront facts with their knowledge within the lies of the day. So pretty much, if you have seen things and experienced things yourself, you're the only real one who knows the contrast between what they're printing and what is true. I really look with commiseration over the great body of my fellow citizens who, reading newspapers, live and die in the belief that they have known something of what has been passing in the world in their time. Like everybody that is going to live and now die believing that Donald Trump worked with Vladimir Putin to steal an election in 2016. And that Time magazine actually printed a wonderful diagram of how elections and democracy was saved in the United States. See? This is unbelievable. 1807. Let's keep going. I live and die believe that they've read something, whereas the accounts that they have read in newspapers are just as true a history of any other period of the world as of the present, except that the real names of the day are affixed to their fables. General facts may indeed be collected from them, such as that Europe is now at war, that Bonaparte has been a successful warrior, that he has subjected a great portion of Europe to his will, etc., etc., but no details can be relied on. I will add that the man who never looks into a newspaper is better informed than he who reads them. Who never looks into a newspaper is better informed than he who reads them, inasmuch as he who knows nothing is nearer to truth than he whose mind is filled with falsehoods and errors. He who reads nothing will still learn the great facts, and the details are all false. Perhaps an editor might begin a reformation in such a way that divide his paper into 4 chapters, heading it the first with truths, the second with probabilities, the third with possibilities, and the fourth with lies. The first chapter would be very short, as it would contain little more than the authentic papers, and information from such sources as the editor would be willing to risk his own reputation for their truth. The second would contain what, from a mature consideration of all circumstances, his judgment should conclude to be probably true. This, however, should rather contain too little than too much. The third and the fourth should be professedly for those readers who would rather have lies for their money than the blank paper they would occupy. Unbelievable. This was one of the smartest men in the Western Hemisphere. And he was our president. Such an editor, too, would have to set his face against the demoralizing practice of feeding the public mind habitually on slander and the depravity of taste which this nauseous ailment induces. Defamation is becoming a necessary of life, insomuch that a dish of tea in the morning or evening cannot be digested without this stimulant. Even those who do not believe these abominations still read them with complacence to their auditors, and instead of the abhorrence and indignation which should fill a virtuous mind, betray a secret pleasure in the possibility that some may believe them, though they do not themselves. It seems to escape them that it is not he who prints, but he who pays for printing a slander, who is the real author. So now he goes. So I don't know how you even go into, if you're Mr. Norvell over here, John Norvell. How do you even go into the newspaper editing business after that? Pretty much saying, oh, there's no way that your operation could be a legitimate one, because if you're just going to tell people what happened, that's not going to be enough to fill the columns on your paper. And if you really want to be able to separate what happened from what is completely editorialized, then you're going to take away the sensationalism that sells a newspaper. And then, of course, those who consume them, just as bad as anything else. So that's why there's less and less people watching Jake Tapper, though. So it's good. Nothing's changed, though, has it?